A palette full of color, we'll leave the truth uncovered, cause only lies are white. We use the words we write to shine a light on life. My light is lava like it's hot and burning bright. Now read, recall, recite.
Hey everyone, we are back for season 2 of And Cyn. I'm so happy to see you, Veronique.
Hey, how are you? Been too long. Ready to get this started?
I know. I'm so happy. We have a great season lined up for you guys. We're going to get right on into it. Our playwright this episode is Jackie Sibblies Drury. Jackie is a native of Plainfield, New Jersey. She's a graduate of Yale University with her bachelor's and Brown University with an MFA in playwriting. She received the David Wickham Prize in playwriting. So, sister is bad, okay? Her plays are amazing. Some of her works include Social Creatures. Social Creatures was commissioned by the Trinity Repertory Theater Company in Providence, Rhode Island in 2013. And it's a play that depicts the zombie apocalypse. I'm so intrigued by that. Other plays include We Are Proud to Present, a presentation about the Herero of Namibia, formerly known as Southwest Africa, from the German Sudwest Africa between the years 1884 to 1915. And also Fairview, which we will be discussing today. She has received many accolades. In 2019, she won the Susan Smith Blackburn Prize for her play Fairview. And she also won in 2019 for the same play, Fairview, a Pulitzer Prize. So this is a Pulitzer Prize drama-winning playwright. She also received for Fairview the Steinberg Playwright Award. All of these awards, Veronique and I talked about our cash prizes she received, and we are so inspired by her and her journey and being around the same age as we are. So shout out to you, Jackie. Did you find anything else out about her, Veronique?
Well, after diving into this play, I was interested in seeing what else she was working on in the wintertime, or early winter 2019. Her latest play, Mary Seacole, opened. I believe at Lincoln Center Theater. Don't quote me, but we can double check that. And that is about takes place from a character, a real live woman, Mary Seacole, who was a Jamaican nurse and hotelier of mixed heritage.
Nice.
In the year of 1805, and it travels through her life. And once again, like that show, when it opened, it was an NYT critic pick. Just seeing how she takes cultural pieces and stories and weaves them. And I'm excited to, hopefully we can probably put that in the mix of when we're reviewing again, of getting our hands on that show. Because after reading Fairview, I was just amazed. And Fairview. So Fairview can be maybe coined as, a neighborhood name, right? It's just like some blanket neighborhood, and at a woman named Beverly trying to create the perfect dinner for her family. So it could be considered like an upper middle class Black family trying to have the perfect dinner. And when you dive into Act 1, you think, oh, this is probably like a comedic or a comedy drama piece of this family trying to pull off the perfect dinner. And Ash Drury weaves this story together, breaking all lines of convention of playwright rules,
All
which
lines.
absolutely love. Um, she is point blank addressing the way that white people view Black people's lives. Like the play takes this whole kind of shift that you don't exactly expect, to see what are they thinking when they look at us. Like what is the other side? And so then we take this journey from going to a comedy or drama that without giving it away basically puts it to the forefront, like, hey, how about we, take a look at how you're viewing Black lives, white America, and change it, because it's not okay. So for a brief summary before we jump in, it's like family dinner gone, listen to what we have to say.
Listen, okay, let's just first talk about the conventions that we both have learned about playwriting in general. You got to have a beginning, middle, and end. Your stage direction should not be very descriptive. You got to leave room for the director to interpret. Your characters breaking the fourth wall is like, it's tricky. Not sure if you should do it. Maybe not. She breaks all of these conventionalities with playwriting, like you said. That is amazing. I even read in a article that her first play, she would put emoticons in the stage directions just to show the emotion of how the line is said. Even in Fairview, when you initially start reading this piece, it's like dialogue within the stage directions, right? You're learning about inner monologue. You're learning about who these characters are beyond the lines that they're saying out of their mouths. And I really, honestly, as a reader, this could have been a novel. You know what I'm saying? I really, honestly was drawn in as a reader reading this.
I absolutely loved it because I know that a lot of directors, you'll take the script and almost just block out the stage direction, right? Because I'm going to take the words, but I'm going to make it my own. And I love the way that she controls the narrative. She's like, no, you will have to observe everything I've put in here because it all ties back to this story. If you were to cut out her stage direction, you will miss the story. If you And I even feel if it were written in a more conventional way, because as you stated, there are like whole sections where all of the dialogue and action are occurring in the stage directions. And it's just, to me, it's a refreshing way. Like, because as the playwright, you're, like you said, you're told, don't do this and don't do that. And I kind of laughed with off-screen discussion because I said, see, people used to pick on me because I can have long monologues in my pieces, and they're like, this is long. And I was like, look, she got, I ain't got nothing on Miss Drury, okay? And she has these long monologues that move. Do you get what I'm saying? They are not stagnant. They are not boring. They are not, you could have cut this. Like, it makes you stay with the character, each scene. And even with her writing, especially with the opening scene, like I could see myself being like that opening scene with my person and be like, oh, did you get this with the root vegetables? I have to tell you. And then even the things in the brackets, they're like, what are you thinking? And I could just, I'm like, this is a tip, to me, I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening at the Black family dinner table. I can see all of it, and the dancing and the joy and the sassy the aunt and niece connection and all these things that just made it so real. And so then when to have the other side, right, enter in with the perception of what this looks like. I think one of the first things that stood out when those non-Black characters enter was them stating how, pretending to live a life that is not theirs, because we can't be upper middle class. We're trying to be white. And that was interesting to me. And it just set off the whole picture where she was going with that transition, like the whole picture. At first, you're just like, ooh, this is great. And Act 2 starts, and you're like, who is this and why are they questions? And And to me, it's almost like you feel them like watching you through a telescope or watching you through a television or watching you through some type of tinted lens, which I feel like does happen in America. They watch you through a tinted lens of their coloring, what they think you are, and it's never a clear picture of who we are. And I feel like she did that in that transition from Act One to Act Two, to see these non-white characters speaking about this family. I felt like they were almost looking at them on television, and they were speaking to what they saw, but their lenses are tinted because you don't really see us for who we are. And I loved the way she did that because I could feel myself getting irritated the more I read it,
Yeah,
or like,
yeah.
ugh, I'm like, yeah, I've been privy to that before, you know. How about you? I know I segue, but
So I was really intrigued um, by the initial conversation between Jimbo and Susie. And Jimbo is asking you guys in the play, he's asking Susie if she could be another race. What race would she be? And she wasn't really like receptive to that like conversation. It made her really uncomfortable, as I feel like most people would be like, wait, what? Like, and but he was adamant and about if he could choose, he would be Asian. And I felt like this was really timely because of where we are currently in society as it pertains to um, the Stop Asian Hate movement, what's happening to the Asian community as far as, you know, our horrible former person that was in office, really placing the coronavirus in the lap of the Asian community and then receiving the backlash for that. Um, and I just, as soon as I read this and hearing Jimbo say, Asian families this and Asian parents this, and saying all of these things about the Asian community, and you are not Asian, okay? You're not in this community. And I just feel like it's really a timely piece, but also it will surpass generations. This same conversation, because racism and the lack of education and the lack of knowledge that people, when people talk about different races, doesn't seem to be changing. It's appearing that people want to fight and ally and all of this, but it just, in my opinion, throughout the years is just getting um worse and manifesting itself in different ways. Um, so I really appreciated this quick flip from what the Black family was and how they were speaking to each other, and how the Black family gathers for um, you know, mama's birthday and making the nice meals and wines and cheeses, and your daughter is highly educated varsity player, but she's also lesbian. We have these same, you know, issues as any other family, right? We have the same dynamics, but we aren't viewed equally.
just to kind of build off of some of the things you said, like with Jimbo's introduction and stating that he wanted to be part of an Asian family, and it just kind of, and then he would just speak about how he would fix that family, and it reminded me of the white salvific complex, like what you would do. Oh, I would do this, and then it would fix that, because unfortunately, culturally, there has always been this idea that, savior, we're going to come and fix any, Black people, Asian people, whatever kind of people, because we are the saviors and we can fix you, and then you can be more like us, you
Mhm.
know And his character reminded me of that with that intro and wanting to be Asian. Then it was, also very interesting, when speaking about wanting to be with Latin, when the character speaks of Latinx, and then even speaking with people now, that term isn't even necessarily like an appropriate term because, as we learn more terminology that is, that truly speaks to groups of people, but just how it's the love the culture but not the people. We want to take these aspects, or then you'll see all of these cases all of the time where people dressing in blackface or, oh, I think it would be cool. But while you can kind of think of what race you would want to be, because you never will really authentically ever have to live that. I remember I was having a conversation with another two set of friends, and it kind of triggered something that I'm writing now because he said, I don't want to be another race, but I do wonder what it would feel like to be that comfortable,
Mm.
you know, to be able to walk around and not worry about what simply the color of your skin could bring to you,
Mm.
whether it's, and a lot of times, especially Black men, the impending danger of death because you are viewed as a threat. Um, or for Black women, the always being, no matter, we're the most highly educated in the country and the worst treated, and still over sexualized and mistreated on jobs. If you don't believe it, go do some research, like, because it is. And so, and he said, I don't want to be another race, but I do wonder what it would feel like to be that comfortable, to be able to walk around, to be able to apply for a business loan and not get denied, to get your house appraised,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not have to hide all of your pictures or bring in your white colleague or your white husband to get a higher value, to not be assumed to be stealing something, to not be assumed, there's all these things that come. So in Act 2, that conversation they got to have, that's because that is a space of privilege and comfortability for you to imagine what you would be. And to me, it still brought a level of exoticism because you still think that it's, people of color, Black people and other people of color are almost like still something exotic, right? Or things sometimes. So the conversation in that too, just it brought up a lot of feelings of like, you have these conversations and you just don't know. And I just felt like she did it so brilliantly because even this beautiful family, and they would have said that's why they were told that, oh, they're trying to act right because Black people don't roast root vegetables and have charcuterie boards and drink wine. No, we eat fried chicken. We drink 40s.
Yeah.
We eat junk food, and you see all of that. And whether people like to admit it or not, it's there. And that's what I'm so thankful about to 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 Jackie Sibblies Drury for, because she literally put it on the table.
One more thing I would love for us to just, unpack is the Beverlys of the world. Um, Beverly is a character that we meet first, everybody. We meet her first. She's the one, I want to say, is she the oldest sibling? I'm not really sure if that was clear, but she's the sibling who is having her mother's birthday dinner at her house. She's the sibling that is cooking everything, that's relying on her husband to be her backbone and get her the things that she needs. She also has a daughter. She also has this interesting relationship with her sister, almost competitive. Her sister is, knows everything about everything and will tell you about it to your face, one of those sisters. And then her brother it works at a firm and he's supposed to show up as well. But from her, I get the feeling I have, about myself and many Black women that I know, is this um, yearning to appear strong, um,
Mhm.
to appear like everything is together. If a hair is out of place on your head, it
Mhm.
causes so much anxiety. And you feel this way because you don't want to be the statistic. You want everything to go right. You want things to be on point. Um, and I feel that is a burden a lot of Black women, Beverlys of the world, we carry with us. What do you think?
Um, I mean, I agree. I don't even know how much more I could add to that because in the need to present and hold it all together in the historical and be in the historical backbone or the one pulling it together, it's almost like a a, a, a trauma etched in the DNA. And then when you hear echoes, and it's true. Like, yes, it's true. Of course, Black girl magic, and you're powerful and you're wonderful, and you can make everything come together. But that kind of pressure doesn't allow you to be vulnerable or make mistakes or have an imperfection, right?
Right.
And it puts an amount of pressure of you to always be here, and it almost doesn't allow you to have that level of humanness. And then to me, for other races, when they view that, then they feel like you have no pain, you have no this, you can take whatever,
Right.
right? And so I think that level of having to be perfect, that kind of superwoman charge, is is dangerous. It's not that we're not magical and we can't make, and
Yeah.
and necessity is the mother of all invention. And when we've always learned how to pull things together and have it and done. But then if you feel like I'll always have to be on point, I have no room to breathe, it must be like this, or I'm gonna view like that I take years off of you. That'll put stress on you.
Yeah. Well, guys, I highly suggest this play. We will be revisiting more of her work. Um, I actually really want to direct this one bad. I hope I don't say that about all of them. We got, I don't know, but I really want to direct this one because it's such a good like it you can see it come lift off of the page as you're reading it, and that is powerful. Um
I think you should. I think y'all should like go in the comments and be like, Soulfly, please direct this and at her, because these works are phenomenal and like they got to open, in off Broadway, and that's
right.
great. But we need to see it around some more places.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hit those comments up and be like, yes, direct this.
yeah.
Cynthia.
So definitely look up Jackie Sibblies Drury's work. Read Fairview. It's definitely accessible. And also read her other works. We are definitely going to read more of her stuff and support her in any way that we can,
Mhm.
because she is an inspiration to both of us, being younger playwrights and directors. So I'm really inspired by you, Jackie, if you ever see this. Um, we have a wonderful actress coming on. Her energy matches everybody's in season one. I'm so glad she's our first guest, and you guys will love her. Take her in and look out for her because she's going to really break these glass ceilings. Hey everyone, we are here with Stephanie Love. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
How are you today? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm having a great day, actually.
Thank you for joining us on And Scene. We just want to talk to you a little bit about you, your life as an actress, and just your insight about the industry as a whole. Can you tell us how you got started acting and why acting?
Yes. And thank you for the opportunity. This is going to be fun. It already is, so I'm excited. Um, So acting, because I've just always loved movies. Like films were a big part of my upbringing, my life. And just like as a family, we would watch movies together. And as I got older, I got more interested in the acting and then behind the scenes and like all the different layers of it, the writing, the costumes, the sets, like everything. And I was just in love. And so I started pursuing it. It's still, I've booked some things. I'm still in the beginning stages, but it's very exciting. Like I have headshots and I actually have a talent resume with things on it. And like, I'm actually like doing the thing. So that's fun. And yeah, it's something about bringing not just my own, but other people's ideas to life. The whole like manifestation part of it, the telling other people's stories and what it brings out of you and where you have to go to get that feeling and relate to the person to actually make it believable. Um, and I like all of that. And like you can be different people and it's fun. So yeah.
Out of the movies and the characters that you're seeing so far, the ones that kind of led you to this passion for acting, can you share like one that really stands out for you?
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I like it's interesting. I love stories with quote unquote happy endings. I like when everything happened for a reason. That's what I believe. Just, like divine order and everything. So like things get rough or hard, but there's always something good to come out of it. But at the same time, I love the villain, the actress or actor or the character itself of the villain or the antagonist in the story. And those are the type of roles that I intend to book and get into. Like a specific character that comes to mind is Heath Ledger playing the Joker and how deeply he got into it and how he like seemingly became another person. Or like I'm trying to think of a woman. What was that? Who was the actress that played Cruella in the first 101 Dalmatians? I don't know who that was, but like that, like they embody the character, like you totally believe for a second, like that's a real person and you're just watching it on a screen. I like that.
Glenn Close?
Yes, I think it was.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I like. Those are the type of roles that I would like to get.
Awesome. So, our show is centered around the Black female playwright, and we wanted to really talk to Black actresses about how they feel about, you know, claiming their rightful place in the entertainment industry. Where do you see yourself falling in this industry? Who and what do you bring to the table?
Oh, that's a good question. You mentioned Black playwrights, and I actually the only play I've been in, a Black woman. Her name is Ayanna Ford. She wrote it. So that was very cool. She basically directed it too. And that was a great experience. But I just wanted to shout her out because you mentioned Black playwrights. But I actually feel like, although I like to be in front of the camera and I'm very comfortable and all of that, I really want to be in voiceover work. That like I really aspire to be in voiceover work and be as diverse and like flexible and chameleon like as possible. I feel like I just offer an authenticity. I just genuinely like to do it, regardless of if I ever make profit from it or not. I show up to do a job and I do it well. I feel like I'm a natural. Certain things I can just tap into and I appreciate that part of it. And I think just my genuine joy for it is what I bring. Like no one could ever taint it for me. And my what do I want to say? My desire to collaborate I think that's a big part of it too. I think that's something that I would bring to the table. I'm all about creative expression and, like I said before, stories being told and representation. And so, being queer as well will just be another representation. So I think I answered the question.
Yeah, you answered it.
Okay.
I think it excites me to hear you say how you want to bridge into voiceover work, because when you shared that, like the two names that kind of popped in my head of people who I kind of know off the top of my head with voiceover work are like Cree Summer, who is just from across
Period.
the board, like period. And then even though we see Regina King a lot in her directing and acting, her voiceover work as well.
Hmm.
Um, and since we're talking about like how you get to bridge in the industry, like just thinking about, there's this show I watch on Netflix called Big Mouth. I
Yes,
don't know.
I love Big Mouth. It's the best. The writing of that show. I want to, yeah, see like stuff like that. Like if I could play a character on Big Mouth, oh my god.
So I thought about, when you said that, I thought about you because Missy on Big Mouth has been voiced by a white actress, I believe her name
Hmm.
is Later. She's giving up the role after the season that
Hmm.
just came out. She's quitting because she said, I realize now that I'm voicing characters for a group of people who have limited opportunities already.
Right.
Because she is white and Jewish, and Missy is, the black little girl coming into herself,
Hmm.
learning of her blackness in this last season.
Hmm.
Um, as I know that you're just jumping into the pool of acting, are there any, has there been any fears and or any advice that you have learned so far from just kind of getting your feet wet, um, that you either are carrying with you, or fears that you don't want to adopt as a black queer woman entering into a field that has limited, has limitations or barriers
Hmm.
they'll break?
Um, honestly, like the first big fear, and it's a doozy, is like the fear of success, especially because I've watched the trajectory. I don't look like it, but I'm in my mid-30s. So I've watched how everything happened and how social media is, and just the stuff that doesn't matter, but yet it's still a big part of it. I don't want to participate in that, but if I choose to put myself in the spotlight, then I'm kind of giving, not giving consent to it, but it comes with the territory. And so, depending on how big I get, or known, that part of it has always deterred me, because it's like I just don't want to have to deal with it. Like I don't care about people's opinions, and so it's I don't know. And it's a lot of responsibility, and just like all that truly comes with it. So that kind of fear of being successful in it is the first main big one. Um, advice, just what I've seen as far as my peers, that are that I'm happy to see be successful, in their different parts of the industry. It's like to truly find yourself, know yourself, and be yourself as you like go through it, and really like know what you want, know what you want to say, because that will spill into the roles that you say yes to. It'll spill into what you say no to. If money's involved, it you just become more of who you are. And so, like I think that's the best advice I've collected just from, various people, is to just be very sure of yourself, believe in yourself and your talents and what it is, like in the question earlier, that you bring to the table, what it is that you truly have to offer, and your worth, um, going into the industry, and not having an attachment to any outcome.
Hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
So one thing we pride ourselves on saying is that Black women are not a monolith, and we are all different. We come from different walks of life. We have different needs, wants, and being a woman who is Black and queer, your needs might be very different from another Black woman's,
Hmm.
truth. What do you need from the industry as a Black queer actress?
literally what you just said, to just acknowledge that we're all different, we all have different needs, and just like the characters that you depict, the roles that are offered, to be as multifaceted and diverse as we are, not to be typecasted. Yeah, just as much as I'm opening to learning different methods of acting, and just like, the range of acting that there is, I would want the people that I collab with and work with, and the industry as a whole, to like support that and have space for everybody, because everybody's story, that's like very true, everybody's story is different. And we have a commonality because we are Black and queer. That is what, we all relate to and resonate with, but both of those are a spectrum. So like an industry that supports that, and to seek out, and because I'm seeking, they will find me, like writers and producers and directors and casting agents that believe in that, because I feel like there's a space for it. There already is a space being cultivated, so yeah.
You kind of just answered my next question, so now I'm thinking.
Oh.
Could you share you because you just said that there is a space being cultivated, which I think is important because, like you said, how you've observed, like we're all pretty much the same age range, that at a time where there was absolutely no space at all, and so now you start to see like crevices and things. Are there any projects or shows or plays that you've been able to either watch or observe more recently that are kind of shaping or carving that space that you're looking for?
More recently, well,
Yeah, I know
of course, Pose. Like Pose is like chef's kiss. Like Pose is. I've just watched it so many times, and I've cried every time. I felt every emotion every time. Like I love Pose, and every actor and actress, and like the writing and the different like it broke history. I think Janet Mock was one of the episodes, made her the first transgendered woman to direct an episode on whatever level of television that is, whatever they call that. So it's just like that show is amazing. I could gush about that all day. Big Mouth too. You mentioned Big Mouth, but they talk a lot about the spectrum of gender and sexuality, especially at that age where you're coming into yourself as a teenager and not really being supported in that, messes you up the older you get. So I like those type of like lessons that show is teaching. And I'm trying to think. I haven't really been watching TV that much lately because I just had other stuff going on. I'm gonna think of one more. There was a show on Netflix. It's RuPaul, and he was going on kind of like this road trip for himself. He was this really known drag queen, and there was this little white girl who basically snuck on his RV, and like they went on this trip together. But it's called Queen and Me. It's something, I don't know what it's called, but it's so good. It's like really good, and it has a lot of full circle moments. And again, it talks a lot about race and mental health and the different levels of abuse and queerness and all of that. So it's a really good show. I can't think of the full name of it, but it's RuPaul is in it. So those are some examples, some of the recent ones that I can think of. A lot of stuff that Lena has been a part of. Lena Waithe. Yeah, that's all I can think of on the top of my head, but that stuff.
And you forgot to mention the web series that you were in.
Oh yes. I mean, y'all had recent, so I was like trying to think of like the last few months or so. But yes, the web series I was in is so cool because on one side of it, like I said, the whole thing that comes with social media is like, I would not have had the courage to pursue acting if it weren't for the opportunities that social media presented. I did a music video with my friends that are a duo, a music duo, and that had been like the only real like produced acting I had done, but I didn't have any lines. And then the web series came about, which was also written and directed by a Black woman who is a lawyer. She's dope. Her name is Pierre. And it was just cool. And I went to, it was my first audition for anything. So that was an experience in itself. And I got one role, and then me and Pierre had a one-on-one, and then she switched me to one of the lead roles. Like, I was so excited. And yeah, we did it. We weren't able to finish due to a bunch of different things, but it was amazing, and the writing was really good, and they were touching on everything that we're talking about. Just like there's a vast array of many different types of Black queer people, and there's many different stories to be told, different experiences, and yeah, she did a really good job. That was a great experience. So that was like my real first acting thing, and then I did the play. And I'm working on a scripted podcast, so that's like my first real voiceover opportunity. And so yeah, it's just cool. I trailed off a little bit there, sorry, but yeah, it's cool. It's been really cool.
Can you tell everybody the name of the web series and where they can find it in case they haven't seen it?
Yeah, it's called In a Sense. IN, new word A, new word sense, SENSE. If they put in a sense, queer web series in YouTube, the YouTube search, I'm sure it'll pop up. And yeah, it's 2 episodes, but it's really good. So just check us out anyway, because we did an awesome job.
Well, now we're going to come to the time where we ask you, and this is if you've had that experience yet, because not all auditions are like that, but if you have ever experienced having to do a cold read, and if so, what is your preparation for a cold read at an audition?
Yes, I have had to do cold reads at different auditions that I didn't book, but I think it's one of my strong suits. I was telling Sam that I was like, let me not let me not boast too much, but I've gotten compliments on it. So yeah, and how I prepare for it is like, so I'll read the whole thing just to see, what it says in general. And then I'll go back and read it more so for my character, whichever character I'm reading for. So I'll read through the other one, but I'm really like reading. I'll even do it out loud to get like the emotion of what's really happening here. Like, is she sad, happy, upset, sarcastic? Like, is this, just trying to like get the feel for it and the flow of the conversation if someone else was doing it with me. I just do it like a few times. And then I just leave it alone because I still get to read. So I can, whatever part just flows or I just remember or a little ad lib isn't that bad. I'll just keep going. But because I still get to read, I don't drill it in myself. Because then I'll like fumble a lot over the words and stuff like that. And so that's it.
Okay, so we're gonna actually take you through a cold read now.
Okay.
We would like for you to read the character Beverly, and I will read the character Dayton.
Okay.
All right. Let me know when you're ready, and we can start.
All right. All right, we can start.
Who was that?
My idiot brother.
What has Tyrone done now?
He couldn't be bothered to get here early like I told him to. No. And now he might not even make it to dinner. Oh, I just can't leave him. He never puts the family first. He always thinks of himself.
Beverly, calm down. This dinner is going to be wonderful because you're a wonderful cook and a wonderful host, and everybody loves you.
You're right. You're right, Dayton. Did you bring me the vegetables? Oh, Dayton. Don't tell me you didn't pick up the root vegetables. I told you I need assorted root vegetables.
I did, but
I said assorted root vegetables, and you said, what's a root vegetable? And I said, anything that grows underground. And you said, like what? And I said, in the store and think about it and get some of what looks good. And you said, oh no. I need specific instructions so that I don't do the wrong thing. Oh no. You said, oh no, you said. And then I said, fine. I need 4 parsnips, 4 sweet potatoes, a turnip, a beet, and a celeriac. And you said, what's a celeriac? And I said, a celery root. And you said, what's a celery root? And I showed you a picture. And you said, that looks nasty. And I said, it looks like a root. And you said, carrots don't look like that. And I said, they would without genetic. And then we argued about the industrialization of agriculture and its effects on our concept of what food is supposed to look like. And after that argument, I said, do you want me to write you a list of the root vegetables I need? And you said no. I need to write this stuff down. I said, are you sure? And you said, Beverly, I don't need to write anything down. And I said, okay. But do you want me to remind you? And you said, you treat me like some kind of fool. And I kept my mouth shut. And I thought I should remember to remind you. And I knew that I should have reminded you. I said to myself, you should remind him. And then I said to myself, oh, no, you don't need to remind him. He's a grown man. He knows what he said he'd do. He knows how important this is to me. He knows everything about this dinner needs to be perfect. And then you come here and ta-da! One day I will.
not today.
Do you hear me? I will murder you one day. Mark my words. Oh, that's the short ribs. Dayton, that's the short ribs.
I got it.
Don't take it out.
Don't take it out.
Oven up to 450 and set the timer for 10 minutes.
Don't take it out.
No. 450, 10 minutes.
450, 10 minutes.
I'm going to peel these vegetables.
1, 2, 3. Go team.
Yeah. 450, 10 minutes.
All right, Bev. All right.
And scene. That was such a mouthful. I was like, they're trying to trip me up. They are trying to trip me up. This woman went on a whole rant. Okay.
So how do you feel post it? Like, how do you feel?
I could have did better. I lost my flow at one point, but I picked it back up. I would do another time, but trying to memorize that for a scene, I definitely would have like started ad-libbing because that's a lot. But I liked it. It was a good little go on.
Like you could see you kind of like just talking to him and just being like, you could see like the restrained frustration, like and you could hear like the restrained like, we went through all of this, like you do, you could hear that and kind of see, and it was like she's so calm, but you hear the undertone of like, I do want
Yeah.
to strangle you, and then she says it later on. It's like that scary quiet, like that.
Hmm.
When you meet somebody, like, you know what? Don't mess with the quiet ones. Like, so like you kind of get that, that feel when you were reading.
That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, I felt like she was obviously pissed, but she was so pissed that that's when the calmness comes, where it's like, I can't believe, like, and then she had to recall the whole conversation just to like let herself know she wasn't tripping. Like, she knows what she said and she knows what he said, and like, this isn't happening right now kind of moment. That's, at least that's how it felt to me. So
I love
yeah.
to hear you processing it as something that would happen in real life. You know what I mean? Because as a director, if I was casting this, I would want to see the woman calm as well. Not like irate,
Right.
because that's not necessarily what happens when you're pissed off in real life. Like, it varies.
Mm-hmm.
You could be high and upset, then you calm yourself down, then you're frustrated, then you're pacing. Like, it's different actions you chosen as an actor. So I think that's a really strong choice that you made to relax her a bit, because the people that I've seen that have been the worst upset were not yelling and
Yeah.
screaming.
And I felt like it was compacted because like whatever this dinner is to her, she was already pissed off by her brother. So, and then for assuming Dayton is her man, for him to reassure her that everything's going to be okay, and then to forget a main component that you knew I needed, that's just like a house, and you just like, yeah, yeah.
So what's next on your list? Like, if you could say in the next 5 years, Steph Love, would like to.
Oh, in the next 5 years, I, Steph Love, would like to definitely have been in a movie and or a short film, and have some good residuals coming from voiceover work. Um, Having been in some great shows and commercials. I am building a platform. It is the Love is a brand as well as myself, and just what, it's like the name that I go by on social media. And I'm building it will be a web platform where I'm the plug. And I've been blessed to know so many like dope business owners, whether it's products or goods or services. And so it's just going to be like this big hub where, and it's just off of the strength. Like I've been known, I have a reputation of just promoting and quality, of course, not just because I know you and put you on kind of thing, but like, quality. And I believe everybody is just one interview or one post, one whatever from someone that needed to seeing you and or hearing you, and then everything just takes off after that. And so I want to be that kind of leg up. I'm still working out the business side of it, but I'm focused on just getting it done, and then I'm the profit will come. The profit is what's messing me up, so I'm trying to push that to the side just for now. And just like brand myself and like get that platform set up. So in 5 years, that will be like booming, and I will have affected hundreds of thousands of people's lives, either through businesses growing and them being able to hire employees or whatever it is, just like the connectivity and the collaboration and all of that. Like in 5 years, that is just going to be what I'm known for. And yeah, as far as like business and acting and what I do, writing more, having a couple of books. I really want to write a haiku book. I just love haikus and I write them all the time. So I just want to put out one. And I feel inspired to write a book about accountability. I don't really know how that's going to come together, but it's just like basically accountability and how it's saved and changed my life. And so something along those lines. Definitely be living in my own home with my partner, and yeah, that sounds good.
Well, you have affirmed it here on And Cyn, and the center of everything that I heard was service.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and that, to know like you're centered in that and your art is centered in that, the best is surely to come your way. So we're so grateful to have done this interview with you today, and we wish you all the love, all the blessings, and all the propelling of your career.
And I receive all of it, and I'm so glad. Like, oh my God, this is such a moment. I'm so glad you're recording. The fact that that's the word that you chose to say, because that's literally my purpose. Like, I know that's my purpose in life, and not to get too deep in it, but I'm a life path 9, which is the humanitarian, and just like acts of service is my love language. Like, it all just, I've come to the conclusion that's why I'm so centered in it. And my most recent tattoo is on my arm, and it's a Shirley Chisholm quote, and it's service is the rent that you pay for room on this earth. And so it's just really what I'm about, and I just really appreciate that you just felt compelled to say that. And I thank y'all so much. This was really fun. Y'all got a good thing going.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, see y'all later.
Roll. And see.